Hey friends, my name is Megan, and if you're new to my channel, welcome to Mustard Seed Homesteading, and if you're returning, I'm so glad to see you back. We're going to continue to look at the garden. I want to show you all that has been growing, even more so this last week than the week prior, and we're going to harvest a few things here and there. Plus, we're going to continue to go in the garage as I have been these last couple weeks so that you can see everything that I'm doing with my seed starts. I was able to up pot a lot of things this week. I feel so much better that I did. I'm going to show you everything that we did. So let's get started. All right, friends, let's go ahead and take a look at what I have been doing this week. So normally I start over here, but I want to start on this rack first because I did separate all of my tomatoes except for 1 cup of tomato seeds that I started later than these. But every single one of these trays, and there's 3 trays on each shelf and there's 5 shelves, so there's 15 trays over here. Every single one of these are tomatoes. Now you can see a couple of spots that are empty, and that's because, you guys, I don't know what I was thinking, but I overwatered my tomato seedlings and killed some of them. So I backed off on the watering. I don't know what I was thinking, but I backed off on the watering and I made sure that they got very dry. And then last night I gave them like a very, you can't see now because they drank them up, but I gave them a very small amount of water with fertilizer because you can see some of the leaves are yellow. So they needed some fertilizer. But so far so good. So my tomatoes are pretty much done. And then before I go over there, I wanted to show this to you. So do you remember those sweet potatoes down below? Look at all the slips that I was able to get from them. So what I do is, these are actually old spaghetti jars. Now this one I use a little plastic tray because these were eensy tiny little slips that I was like, you know what, they can grow. So I put that in a little plastic bowl. But all I did was take a old spaghetti jar, filled it with water. I put, you know, some tape on there, labeled it what it was. And then I clip them to the side so that they don't fall in because some of them are short, but you can see some of the roots in there. Let me pull one out so you can see one up close. So you can see all the roots that are growing from these slips, and these are the ones that are going to go in the last 2 green stalks that you see in my driveway. And then I like to just clip it against a jar. You know, I mean, I don't have to, but I do just to kind of keep them, you know, in place to not move around or fall over. Especially for the ones that are shorter, like this one is not as long, so I didn't want it to fall all the way down because these are pretty, you know, tall jars. So I'm slowly taking the slips off and then I'm sticking them in these jars so that they're ready come April. And then I don't think I ever mentioned having a fan on your seedlings, but I have this fan here to, you know, blow at the seedlings on the trays. Now sometimes I will have it where it touches this shelf and this shelf, and then the other day I'll put it down a little bit further so that these seedlings, I do need to get another fan or two. I have my other fan, you probably can't see it, I'll show you when I go over there. I have the other fan on the other side for the other new shelving unit, and then I have this fan, so I really do need to get another one. But let me show you what I've been doing. So if you remember, I had a whole tray of collards, cauliflowers, broccolis, and so forth. And I had actually 2 trays of them, and I already finished one, and then you can see I finished this side. This is actually Hamburg rooted parsley. I don't know how to approach this because this is the first time I've ever grown those, so I am going to do a little bit of research before I start plucking these out. And then what's left here is the Swiss chard, and then this is my basil and some flowers. These I plan to tackle in the next day or two, so hopefully the next tour you'll see all of these individually up potted. And This over here is still all of the dill. They're doing really good in these little pots, you guys. I've shared in my seed starting video of the different size cell trays that I purchased from Bootstrap Farmer. The idea was for me to put a lot more in a smaller space just because my garden has grown more this year and I needed more room for seedlings, and I figured this would be helpful. And so far I'm really liking the smaller cell trays along with the cell trays that I've always used, which is this is the 32. So they have 32, they have a 50, they have this one's different, I forgot how much this one is, but they have the 50, they have 72, 128, and then 200. This one I believe is this one actually is the 128, and I believe this one, you can see the difference with the squares, this one is the 200. And then the 72, let me see if I have that. Let me show you because I really love these trays. I'm using my step stool for storage until my hubby gets the stainless steel table up. So here's the 200. Here is I think this one is the 70, no, sorry. This is the 128. This is the 72, and then the 50 was over there that I showed you on the very top shelf right here. And you guys, I'm so glad that I bought these. Plus, if you guys are wondering what this is, so I bought only one for the 200 cell tray. So what you do is you just pop them underneath to help get these out. So I bought this one. I may buy more of these little spike ones for the other trays, but I thought I'd start with the 200 and see how I like it first. So those have been working very well for me. I'm very glad that I invested in those this year. Back to what I was saying, these are pretty much what I have left. And then these onions and leeks, look at you guys, they've gotten so crazy. I have these and then the jicama to separate as well. And then the peppers. I'm doing peppers last just because look at how gorgeous they are. And there's a few that are still trying to sprout, so I'm gonna save these for last. I just gave them a little bit of fertilizer last night. But if you guys have been following me every week, look at how lush and gorgeous they are. They're doing really, 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 really well. So these will be last. And then my goal right now is just to finish these two trays and this one. This shelf down here is all of tomatoes too. I put most of the tomatoes on the other shelf just because I also love to keep my seedlings organized as much as possible. And so I made this shelf and the bottom shelf the rest of the tomato plants. And these are the last little bit of them that I up-pot. It was a lot that I had to up-pot, you guys, but I'm so glad it's done. And then I'm still getting sweet potato slips from there. I'm not going to open it because it's like aphids sitting in there. And I don't want them jumping on here or my peppers because I'm already starting to see aphids on here. And all I'm doing is zapping them with water. I'm not putting anything else on there except zapping them with water. Let me show you, let me see if there's one. I think maybe, I'm gonna try to zoom up so you can see what I'm talking about. I don't know if you can see, I don't know if you can see that, but if you see those little dots, those are aphids, and they love to eat those tender leaves, and I just come over there and zap them off with water. Last year I used a neem oil or peppermint, I can't remember which one, and it almost destroyed my pepper plants, but it's probably because I didn't do the right ratio of water and oil or water and soap, so that probably could have been my fault. But I'm just, you know what, I'm in here every day checking my stuff anyways, so I just zap it with water. And that's just what I do. And so that has been helpful for me. Now, these are the last little bit of tomato seedlings. What I plan to do with these, I learned from Whispering Willow Farms. I love watching Reagan. She's such a doll. She has shared in her videos, let me see if I can find it. Oh, I think it's over here. Sorry, I'm like moving you guys all over the place. Oh, it's right here. So she said to try pinching off the top of your tomato seedling right above, I call these the baby leaves. I know they have a proper name, but they're baby leaves to me. And so I'm experimenting with this, and look it is already growing two little of its own stems of tomato plants. So I'm experimenting with this one, and then I'm gonna take that entire cup when I up-pot them and I'm gonna do the same, and I'm gonna see if it'll yield me double the amount of tomatoes by doing this, because she shared that that's what she does with hers, and it got me thinking that's a great idea. So I'm gonna try it too. So we'll see how that goes this year. And then this is the ginger and turmeric. I cannot wait to take those out and plant them into the bags. Last year they did amazing. You can see right here, they're already trying to pop out. These grow very easily for me, and they're pretty hands-off once you plant them and they start to grow. And they look gorgeous too. It makes you feel like you're in the tropical, like in a tropical climate. So I have these here. This is all the ginger, and then this is all the turmeric, and that should be planted out in the next couple of weeks. Oh, and I don't want to forget, so this gorgeous looking seed starting tray from GREENSTALK, I planted some snap peas. So these two, and these two are 3 different varieties. So I have, so this one was from the dollar store. That's the sugar snap pea. And then this is the Amish snap pea. And then this is the Tom Thumb snap pea. Now, Tom Thumb is actually a dwarf snap pea. So I'm looking forward to trying this, because if I can grow a bunch of snap peas out of like a little pot or a little bag, that would be great for me, because I mean, who wouldn't want to grow a bunch of food in a small space? So we're trying out this variety, and then I'm trying out the Amish sugar snaps. I have planted and grown those before, but I'm just trying, you know, dollar store. I also over here did Johnny's. So these 3 rows are Johnny's sugar snap peas, if I can say that correctly without being tongue twisted. And then these are from Botanical Interest of the sugar snap peas as well. So I got these started because they are going to be going in the grow bags. I'll show you over there on the retaining wall. And then for the other side, so here's the other side of all the tomatoes. And you know what, friends, I think I'm going to be doing a separate seed starting like garage tour, because there's just so much going on in here, and I do want to share with people more of the details of like the soil, the cell trays and everything, because I think that would be helpful. I know for me, when I first started gardening, these are the things that I always wanted to watch and learn about. So I finally got around to some of the lettuces, the spinaches, the fennel, and I was able to separate some of these. Now, some of the lettuces were a little bit difficult to separate, so I watered those last night, but I did start snipping some, so it was just 1 per cell. And then this one, I'll probably come in and snip this one too. I just wanted to water things a little bit. And then these are all the herbs and some of those flowers that we started together. I still have the dome on because not everything has germinated yet, but so far it's looking really good. And then those trays that I told you that I separated of all of the cauliflower, the collards, and broccoli, they're all right here in the 50 cell tray, the 50 count. And so far they're looking really good. Now I'll tell you, it was really hard because I had so many seeds that germinated, and I had to throw a few away. I hate doing that, but I had to because I didn't want to stress myself out. So I picked about 10 per variety, and so we'll see how all this goes. I'll tell you, this is my little happy place right here. I got my gym and I got my little garden section. It makes me so happy. And then for anyone that remembers all the onions that were in the garage, I'm starting to harden these off so I can get these into the garden. And then here's a tray of root crops that we planted together. Now the turnips aren't looking too good. I might have to replant those, but the radishes and the beets are looking pretty good. So I'm trying to harden those off and just go put those into the garden. And then here's the last little bit of the starts. Now the reason I haven't put those back there is because of the squirrels, but I'm gonna be able to put those back there this week because when I go up there to show you all what I did, I figured out a way to put insect netting over the pallets with the buckets as well as the bags, and I cannot wait to show you guys because this means I can grow food back there without them messing with it. Now there is a lot going on here, and definitely think I'm gonna be doing maybe separate GREENSTALK garden tours just because of all that is going on. But let me just show you everything that's going on. So I finally planted my potatoes in these 2 GREENSTALKs. I have a few potatoes left to plant, and then MI Gardener is, I'm waiting for the delivery for those potatoes. So I'll be having a hopefully staggering of potato harvest this coming spring, early summer. So far the strawberries are doing really good. I'm starting to see like a lot of flowering. So hopefully we'll be getting some strawberries soon. All the mint is coming back. This is my peppermint, and then this is my lemon mint that I started last year. So I cannot wait to try that. And then this is my favorite mint right here. This is the mojito mint. I'm so excited that this is growing back. This is my favorite mint. And then this is the yarrow. It's gonna start to bloom here. Hopefully next week you'll see that flower. And this is pretty much my perennial tower. Now I don't have anything on the bottom. I still need to figure out what to put there, but I'm sure I'll figure something out. And then you guys, the broccoli's still doing really good. I'm not gonna harvest, that one's still small. I'm not gonna harvest yet. We may harvest this one next week, depending on how large that could get. And then this one too, hopefully in the next couple weeks we can harvest this, but they're looking beautiful. They're gorgeous. These next 4 GREENSTALKs are all of the onions, but look at how much they've grown since last week. I'm so excited to see these. Now, these GREENSTALKs were already pre-filled with soil and some compost from the previous year, but I topped it off with the Fox Farm soil, so we'll have to see how that is. But you guys, look how beautiful these are. I'm really happy to see these. And even the onions up there, when I go show you the garden beds, I opened a couple of them so I can show you up close. A lot of the onions have grown since I planted them in there too. All right, you guys, these next 2 are like my little pride and joys right now. Look at these broccolis. Like, are you kidding me? Just within a foot. Can you see the difference from last week? Now, I will tell you, some aphids have been attacking these things, and I've been out here with the hose trying to hose them off. Let me show you if there's some. I think there was some over here. I have to come back after I film. I'm gonna have, do you see all those? Do you see those little boogers? I can't stand these guys. They get in here and they can destroy a whole plant. So I have been out here keeping an eye on that and hosing them down. You'll see some of them look kind of all like limp and distorted almost, and it's because of the aphid damage. So I am going to harvest a couple of leaves on the outsides of these real quick, but I'm just so excited to see all these. And a lot of the broccolis are looking really good. I know this one is starting to form a head right there, so that's exciting to see. But I'm having to keep a close eye on these because I don't want these to get destroyed from the aphids. All right, friends, let's go ahead and harvest a couple of these leaves. I've noticed that the top ones don't get them as bad as like the lower kale plants. I'm not really sure why that is, but I mean, I'm grateful either way because I don't want them touching anything. Ooh, look at how beautiful these are. These make me so happy. Now, what are you all growing right now? What seeds are you starting? I love to hear from you guys what you're doing in your garden because it encourages me to know others are working hard at their garden, but it also gives me ideas too that I may not always think of, or seeds to start. And so I would love to know what you guys are growing. Now is the time to start seeds, no matter what zone you're in, or maybe the really colder ones. I'm not really sure yet about those, but I think like zone 6 and 5, you are starting seeds, right? You'll have to let me know if you're one of my viewers that are in the colder zones. Please tell me when you start seed. This is a little crispy. And if you see like a powdery substance on here, so I'm new to the pollen here in Alabama because we didn't have that up in Illinois, but it's like this green kind of, let me see if it's on, you can't really see it on here, but it's like this green kind of powder looking stuff, and it's their pollen, which is still very new to me, but it's in the month of March, so Yeah. Oh my goodness, this is exciting, you guys. I love doing this. And also, I don't want to forget, we're going to start harvesting asparagus. So I'm just going to, you see how beautiful that sounds? Oh my goodness, you guys. I love this asparagus so much. I'm going to harvest this one and I'm going to harvest this one because I know that this one is ready to go. So we got 2 asparaguses. Now this one I'm going to refrain from harvesting because this is its 2nd year. I need 1 more year before I can really harvest from that. You can see right here, it's this one's starting to flower. So this one needs 1 more year, but this one we can harvest away. Look at all that kale, you guys. Oh my goodness, that excites me. And I'm so happy that I busted out my basket, my big basket. I've been wanting to bust this out. There just hasn't been enough to harvest, and now there is. So let's go harvest some more, but first I want to quickly show you the garlic because the garlic has been doing really, really good. Because we're going to harvest a little bit of this oregano, but I want to show you the garlic. These 4 right here are all the garlics, but I wanted to show you how much, well, these ones are not. They didn't do good on me, so I'm going to fill those up. But look at how beautiful the garlic is doing. So I should be harvesting these in the next 1.5 months or 2. So I'm looking forward to harvesting those because we also have garlic, a whole bed of garlic back there, and then we also have 2 pallets of garlic too. And then these are the 2 green stalks that we're going to grow those sweet potato slips in. Now I purchased a couple and then you saw that I'm growing some, so this is where we're going to be planting them. And then I did want to show you where I'm putting those snap peas. In case you're new to my channel, it's been a while since I've talked about these. These trellises are some of my favorite for grow bags. I do have this listed in my Amazon products down below in the description because I like them this much. Because not only do they fold, but you can put them straight out, you can angle them however you want, and I love that. So I did try putting snap peas in here during the fall, but I think something ate every single one of them. So I'm starting them in the garage just to be safe. So this bag, as well as all the ones that you see the trellises on, are gonna be full of snap peas. And then the ones in between, because the leeks did so good in there last year, I'm gonna plant leeks in there. And I have them staggered in between in hopes that the leeks, because it's in the onion family, will help with any pest pressure at all. And then these 4 bags is going to be the ginger and the turmeric, and then those last 2 bags are probably going to be some sort of a leek or maybe shallots and onions. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll figure something out for those. Now before we go to the back, I wanted to quickly show this to you because I'm going to harvest a little bit of this oregano because it's just too gorgeous not to harvest right now. But all of these metal beds are going to be herbs. I used these last year for herbs and they did really well. I love that I can roll them around and move them if I want to, take a bag out. I really like what I did here. And then I also have garlic here. I don't want to forget that. But what I want to put my attention to is this oregano. I want to harvest some. I want to harvest some right now because there's not a lot of bug pressure, you guys. And so I want to get some of this before the bugs, because when it gets hot out and the little teeny bugs get under the leaves, it's so tedious to get the bugs off and the pests. It's quite aggravating, actually. Okay, let's go ahead and harvest these. I will say that if you have any herbs right now that is harvestable, I would do it now because there's no bugs. Now, when you're harvesting, don't go all the way down to the root. You want to leave, when I'm done, I'll show you what I mean. You want to leave a little bit left so that more can grow. Look at how pretty. Isn't that gorgeous? Makes me so happy. Because this stuff is expensive at the store. It's really expensive, especially for fresh. Sorry for the noise in the background. It is gorgeous out, as you can see. The neighbors are out, they're doing their lawns, they're getting their garbage cans. So there's gonna be noise in the background, I'm so sorry. Okay, so here's a perfect example of what I was talking about not cutting all the way down. So when you harvest herbs, you don't, okay, so do you see right here in the armpits where there's the leaves here and then there's shoots coming out of the armpits? I cut or harvested from here so that now these shoots will grow some more oregano. And so if I had gone all the way down and cut, I could have jeopardized not having more oregano grow from this stem right here. So that's how you want to harvest. Now I don't harvest every single top just because it's still, you know, to me it's still growing. So like for instance, I don't see anything in the armpits here yet, so I'm not going to harvest every single one of these tops. But that's how I harvest. Here's another example right here, so that more can grow, because the more you harvest too, the more grows as well. So I didn't harvest everything, but enough. And the dogs are barking. Sorry. All right, let's go ahead and take a look up top because there's a lot to show you, but stay to the end because I'm going to show you everything that we harvested together. Well, I'm going to start with these 2 wood beds. Now, I'm not going to harvest anything, but I want to show you the growth that has happened just within the last week. And then for those that have been watching me, I'm not sure if you saw last week's video, but I had overwinter pepper plants in this bed as well as this bed, and they were not looking good, you guys. So I had to yank everything out. I'm glad that I still tried it though, because I would have never known had I at least tried. So I got these prepped, took everything out. I've been watering to keep the soil moist so that I can put some spring crops in here. But I want to show you these next 2 beds because the snap peas are growing, the broccoli is growing. Look at all of these. So these are Romanesco broccolis. I lifted up the insect netting so you guys can see. But look at those. They're so beautiful. I couldn't be more happier. So again, like I shared last week, I had stuffed onions and shallots in both of these beds in all 4 corners, or like if there was Swiss chard, I had put some in the spots that I had taken the Swiss chard out, and then I lined up the sides of the bed with onions and shallots. I believe, if I remember, this entire bed is all onions and the other bed is onions and shallots. But for the most part, this bed is all the broccoli, most of the Romanesco broccoli. This is my first time ever growing Romanesco broccoli. And I've also heard that it's really a cauliflower, but either way, I hope that it heads because they look really cool to grow. And then look at the Swiss chard. Now they're still babies. I'm not going to harvest anything, but they're growing very well. And then, as I've said before, is that if there's a plant that is not growing very well, because I have so many starts, like this one I was having a hard time getting it to straighten out and it might end up not doing good on me, I will just pluck out the ones that are not doing well and stick new starts in. That's going to be my whole way of going about the spring garden, because a lot of these were, actually all of this pretty much except the onions are from my winter garden. It's because I had the frost covers over these that they're even this far along. So, which reminds me, the frost covers were definitely worth the time and effort, because I would not have had these plants as large as they are if I did not have the frost cover over. And then you guys, I just noticed that this broccoli head is coming through, which is really exciting to see. So I'm very impressed with this bed. Now let me show you. I wanted to point out that some of these starts, like these are my kales. I have the the insect netting over these so that the squirrels don't get these. I'm trying to see if I could use the ends of this to cover these bags, but I noticed these starts as well as this bed, and I usually show this bed towards the end of the video, but I just noticed a lot of these plants are not growing as lush and large as some of the other beds. Now these broccolis are doing pretty good, and the kale at the ends are not too bad, but I do know that this was the last bed that we recently put up, and I noticed that brand new beds do take for, I don't know, I've noticed this in my garden, even though I put really good soil and compost in here, I just noticed sometimes the first year it's not as good as when the soil starts to really establish itself in here and break down. Versus like, you know, second, third year of these beds. Because for instance, this one, I want to say, I can't remember which one. I think this was my very first bed that my husband made. And everything that's been growing in there is just, it's gorgeous. And I think that's because the soil's been very established, along with the rest of the beds as they have been built and, you know, placing all the soil and compost in there. So I'll just have to keep an eye, and if those don't do well, just pluck them out and put new starts in there. But you guys, this is what I wanted to show you. Look at all of the snap peas. If you remember, I had planted some new snap peas and a lot of them germinated, and they've grown so much, and I'm actually already seeing some flowers. Look at that. Let me see if I can. It's hard because this sometimes takes the focus, and I don't want to rip this, but you can see there's the flower right there. And I'm really happy to see them. So hopefully in the weeks to come, we'll be grabbing some snap peas from here. And this side is doing really good. This side's not as large as the other one, but I still stuck with the 4 different varieties. So one variety here, another one, this one, as well as this one. This one's still the Sugar Ann right here. And then I believe this one might have been the Avalanche. I can't see the tags right now. And then this one is another variety. I think this one is the Oregon Giant right here. And then I do want to say that this is probably the Avalanche. Let me see. Yeah, Avalanche, I was right. Oh, I got a good memory. Okay, I should probably flip them around so when I want to read it for you guys, I can see it. So this is the Avalanche, the Oregon Giant. I know this is the Sugar Ann. And then this one was, okay, it's on the other side. Let me see. Oregon Giant Snow Pea. So did I do the same thing? Look at this. I think I might have. Oregon Giant. Oh, I guess I did. Okay, sorry. All right, I forget things. You know why? Because I had 4 different varieties the last time, and I think the variety that was here, I ran out, so I just made these 2 Oregon Giants. So sorry about that. So Oregon Giants, Sugar Ann, and Avalanche, and in the weeks to come, you'll see which variety does better. And I would say they get an equal amount of sun, because the way the sun comes over the garden, it goes around, so everything pretty much gets touched with sun back here. So I wouldn't say that this necessarily gets more sun than this side. So we'll have to see how these varieties do. And then I don't show these a whole lot, but this is my chamomile. I've designated these 2 pots. I bought these from Home Depot, I think 2 years ago. But look at the bud from the chamomile. There's a bunch of them everywhere, and I cannot wait to harvest these. I was able to harvest a few last year, not a whole lot. So I'm looking forward to hopefully harvesting a whole lot more. And what I did was I just threw seed in here, because instead of starting seed inside, I decided I'm just going to throw seed in the pot. So I had done this back in the fall, and a lot of it's growing now. And so that's another reason why I designated these pots for the chamomile, because seed drops and you can just drop it in there, and now this is my chamomile. So it just makes my life a lot easier. So I told you guys, I feel like there's so much to show you. I'm trying to condense everything, but it's really hard. It's just hard not to show you everything. Look at all of these like perfectly uniform broccoli. This makes me so happy. I'm so grateful that these are growing. You have no idea how happy I am. I just hope that they grow to have beautiful heads of broccoli. I know there's a cabbage in the corner there, but I'm so excited. So, and then you can see I had put all the leeks and onions in the 4 corners on the outside. And I like these clips, by the way. The metal clips are the best for the frost covers and the insect netting. The only thing is with the insect netting, you have to be very careful that it doesn't snag and rip, because it can easily snag and rip. I don't know if you can see how it's kind of, this is the less expensive insect netting versus the other one that was a lot thicker, but so far I do like this. So I don't have too many complaints with this one, at least not yet. But everything's looking really good. I just watered this bed and all the other beds yesterday, and so hopefully we'll get some broccoli soon. And then this bed, as I shared, I had planted 9 varieties of carrots. Nothing has popped up yet. I have kept them moist, but not overly moist. So hopefully in the weeks to come, because I know it takes a while for carrot seeds to germinate. So hopefully we'll see something germinate soon, because I really want to figure out which variety does best for me. So far I'm liking the Napoli F1, because you can see over here, which actually, you guys, I think I wanted to harvest one of these to see. I don't know if they're ready though. Let me see. I'm gonna poke through and see if there's something ready. But so far, I'm liking this variety the most. Let me see. Hold on, I can't do this with one hand. Okay, so actually, I never thinned out the carrots, so I just took out these 2 incy little baby ones. But look how cute they are. They're so adorable. So I probably should come in here and thin some of those out, but look at how lush they are. So those are the Napolis, and then these are the, I shared this last week, the Scarlet Nantes. So we'll see. I want to get a variety that does well, or a couple of varieties that does well for the garden, so that I can focus on growing them every year, because we love carrots. Now look at this massive guy. I think this is the Romanesco, because the leaves look the same over there. For some reason this is not tagged. I'm sure it's probably in my binder though. So we'll have to see what comes out of here in the next couple of weeks. But look at all the Swiss chard, you guys. That's what I wanted to harvest over here. I wanted to harvest a few pieces of Swiss chard. So let's go ahead and harvest a few pieces. And then this side too has a ton of Swiss chard that I'm going to harvest real quick, but I wanted to show you a few things that are starting to show signs of growing quite a bit. This is the Petty, the romaine lettuce. This variety does very well for me. And then the red sales is growing, and then you can see the other romaine is starting to grow more. But what I am really excited about too is the red rock mammoth cabbage. I've always had a really hard time growing red cabbages, and so I'm hoping this variety does very well for me, because the squirrels ate pretty much all of them in the back, except there's one that looks like it might grow. And then the stonehead cabbage, you guys, these are really impressing me. So we've got a lot going on here. Even the snap peas are growing beautifully there, as well as over there. And there's just going to be a lot of food. It's going to be hard to condense these videos because there's just so much going on. Okay, you guys, I did not realize there was so much to harvest in this bed, but I tried to clean it out as best as I could. So I have a massive amount of Swiss chard now. So let's try and talk about the rest of the garden, because I want to show you what I did back here. But you guys, look at the comfrey. That is an amazing sign that spring is coming. I'm so excited. So I love my comfrey. This whole box is comfrey plants. I had purchased a bunch of starts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I think 7 from, well, this one is all broken, but I purchased these from Azure Standard. Right now, I do Azure Standard hauls, by the way, in some of my videos, and right now Azure Standard is selling their starts for the spring and summer. So if you want to purchase any, like I have a hard time growing some starts, so I will purchase them. Now over here, well, we talked about this bed, but I want to show you back here. So there's not a lot to see, but this is what I wanted to show you. So last week I had shared with you that my idea was to put bamboo sticks on each corner and then some in the middle. And you guys, it worked. I'm really happy. So, I mean, it doesn't look like picture perfect, but it's covering the buckets. Now, if I were a squirrel, I would try to get under there, and it's very possible that they may, but this is better than nothing. So we're gonna try this. I did this one first to test it out because we still had a few kale plants in here that they did not touch. But now that I know that I'm gonna do this, I am more than likely, well, I am gonna do the rest of these pallets and then start putting some starts, because this is a lot of space to grow food back here, you guys. So I think the sensors are great. The spray that I bought is really good, but the spray you have to keep spraying after it rains, and I don't want to have to constantly go out here and do that. And I just feel like with the netting, this is probably the safest. Plus, it also helps with the insect pressure. All I did was clip it with the metal clips right here. If you can see that, it's hard to stay focused on something when the camera's trying to get attention from something else. So I just clipped it onto the bamboo stick, and then I kind of wrapped it like a present a little bit and used the handle to clip it and the side of the bucket to clip it, and just put it all the way around. Let's see if I can get this side too. And you can see that I just kind of wrapped it all the way around, and so far, like I said, I'm liking this. I just want to quickly show you, all these pots are my lemon balm, because lemon balm just drops seed, and because it's been getting warmer out, you can see they're starting to pop through. So I'm really happy. Lemon balm is such a wonderful herb to grow. I thoroughly, look at all those little lemon balms. Oh my gosh. This is why I personally have designated, I have to add some soil to these because they're getting low, but this is why I designate certain pots and bags for perennials, because they literally reseed themselves, and it just makes my life easier. So I'm happy to see these. Now real quick, before I close and I show you all that we harvested today, one of my viewers, and I have seen this before, but one of my viewers, actually one or two of my viewers, commented about getting these waste baskets at the Dollar Tree, and I went ahead and got some. I think it'd be good to have them for all of these really large bags, because some of these starts they've been getting at. But let me see, let me take this off so you can see. This is the stonehead cabbage. Now I was a little hesitant because obviously I feel like I'm suffocating some of the leaves, but I really want to see this one grow to a full head, and it's just too gorgeous, and it's like right here by the woods too. So I put the waste basket over this, and hopefully we will have a gorgeous stonehead cabbage come from this. And then all I did was I took a staple, just to show you, and put it two in there, one, oh, here we go, one on each end, like so. And that's how it stays in. So far, so good. All right, friends, let's go ahead and see what we harvested today in the garden. Okay, I cannot begin to tell you how I'm so excited that I know I said it before, but we busted out the big basket, because that means that there's more to harvest. So I did not realize, you guys, this is full of Swiss chard, and I'm so afraid that if I tilt this over, because I want to show you the oregano in the middle, that they're all going to topple over. So I'm going to try my best to show you everything. So that is a bunch of Swiss chard. And then let me see if I can hold it. And then do you see all the oregano? Oh my gosh, that makes me happy to see. Bug-free oregano, that's my favorite. So we got oregano, and then I did forget to show you, but I had a broccoli that was starting to, I'm trying to get it in focus there, that started kind of, I don't know, flowering. It didn't even really head. So I grabbed this because, again, I eat the stalk and I eat the leaves as long as they're good, and I will eat that broccoli head. And then you guys, look at all the kale. Look at all, and I didn't even harvest everything. And that was out of the GREENSTALK. So we got a lot today. Oh, and those 2 baby carrots. I can't find them because there's, where are they? Oh, and we got 2 asparaguses too. Where's the other one? Oh my goodness, I can't find it. Okay, well, we had 2 asparaguses, so I'm excited about these 2 because I planted my first bag 3 years ago, and now I can finally harvest asparagus and we can have a few meals with them. So I'm really looking forward to it. I think I'm gonna probably do more asparagus bags just because I want to have a good supply of asparagus during the springtime. So, but I think my window for starting seed is over with. But anyways, I think I'm going to end up growing some more. But look at you guys. Overall, I am always excited about the harvest and very blessed. So friends, thanks so much for stopping by, and I always look forward to seeing you guys next time. And always remember, friends, be encouraged, stay encouraged, and always stay inspired. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.